The top story rocking conservative politics and Fox News tonight is a huge new leak about this moment in 2020 when Fox News accurately reported that Biden won Arizona, which stoked a MAGA backlash that upended the network, fed the series of journalistic offenses we've been telling you about that Fox now is facing potential accountability for, potentially over $1 billion in lawsuit fines. And it's also now led to the absolute blockbuster leak to the New York Times. And if you're thinking, oh, Ari, I've heard about other leaks, this one is different and brand new. And it narrates a secret panicked meeting among Fox executives and hosts about that accurate Arizona call where Trump lost. The Times says they obtained the entire Zoom call, which shows an internal freakout where viewers were mad and bailing on Fox because they were reported in that instance, one undeniable fact about the election. And the executives and anchors, Bret Baier and Martha MacCallum, on this call, they discuss that they were losing viewers because they correctly called Arizona for Biden. And then they discuss whether the company should reverse that call as a kind of lie to appease these angry Trump viewers and or change their entire election coverage going forward. Basically saying, telling the truth in this instance has reverberated so poorly, maybe we should stop telling the truth. Now, this is absolutely damning, incriminating stuff. Keep in mind, before I go any further, and I'm going to show you the receipts, but keep in mind, news outlets do not auction off reporting to the highest audience. They don't state knowing falsehoods only for ratings. Of all the valid critiques of media, and there are many, this type of thing, just canceling an election call or reversing it, this doesn't even come up. No legitimate news organization has faced evidence of anything like this in its election coverage in the modern era. In other words, if you're listening to this story and going, well, I have a lot of friends who criticize the press, sure, and some of those critiques are valid. The type of factual critiques about the press, about bias, about selective coverage, about corporate interference, none of that goes anywhere close to this. A Fox CEO now caught on tape saying, if we hadn't called Arizona accurately, our ratings would have been higher. And she gives away the game by saying that it was bad that Fox's elections expert told the truth about Arizona, saying, again, from this newly leaked call, that his job was not to do accurate election coverage, it was to, quote, protect the brand. Then when Fox's own election expert pushes back, again, we're seeing well behind the curtain of high-level stuff you never normally see. The expert pushes back, says they had the call right, which is true. And then the New York Times reports that the Fox CEO, Scott, agreed it was important to be right, quote, but I think we're living in a new world in a sense where half of the voting population doesn't believe in big corporations, big tech, big media. There's a lack of trust. This is such BS. I want to make sure you understand exactly what it is, because it's the kind of echo you might hear from someone at some barbecue or dinner party. It's a common spin. Those people lying to you, some of them are on your screen right now, they lie to you. They undermine trust. Then they refer to a lack of trust out there, which is their justification for what they're doing. And to tell you the obvious tonight, because sometimes I do that, it is illogical to say you can't report the truth if half the population disagrees with the truth. Again, we're back to like 101 here. The whole role of a legitimate news organization is to report facts regardless of people's disagreement, and especially when there is a coordinated attack on the facts. In this case, an attack from the outgoing government that was trying to overthrow the election where people were killed and a coup was attempted. That's, of course, what makes all this so important. That's why it's still in the news, because of the sheer stakes of it, not just some random isolated lie from somebody who admits that they run Fox News to protect a brand. Now, let me read you more receipts, again, courtesy of the Times. In that same leaked call, Fox host Martha MacCallum talks about the tremendous backlash they got. Fox's 6 p.m. host Bret Baier then raises the idea of reversing the accurate call, saying, quote, it's hurting us. The sooner we pull it, even if it gives us a major egg, and put it back in Trump's column, the better we are, in my opinion. Damn. People just telling on themselves. Mr. Baier clearly didn't know this Zoom call would get out to the whole world. And this newly leaked call now shows, in his own words, I'm not adding anything here, Baier wanted to pull the accurate report. Here he was making that call.
The Fox News Decision Desk is calling Arizona for Joe Biden. That is a big get for the Biden campaign.
Fox News went on to fire one of the election staffers who was involved in making the correct Arizona call. We did know that already. This leaked Zoom conversation adds a lot more context. It shows that Fox is the kind of media company where getting a story right is what can get you fired. They did not, though, publicly reverse that call. Now, all this comes after the chief of the Fox empire, Rupert Murdoch, admitted that he and top anchors knew Trump's big election lie was, quote, crazy. And he says, he admits under oath, some of them endorsed it anyway. Now, how did we get here? Why is this still in the news? Well, for weeks, the billion-dollar defamation case against Fox has driven some really rough headlines based on that case's material. Secret texts, emails, depositions going public like the Murdoch one. And that is all an unavoidable part of legal trial discovery. But there is no indication from the New York Times where this new call recording leak came from. It's possible, I suppose, that it was a recording accidentally made by Fox that went into some evidence grouping and got turned over to the case. It's technically possible. We cannot, at this hour, rule that out. But most people on that call would not want it recorded in the first place, would not knowingly record it to then put it in an evidence pile. The New York Times states the leak and their reporting is based on, quote, a recording of the call reviewed by the New York Times. They don't mention the case at all, and that raises other possibilities. The possibility that someone inside Fox secretly recorded it as that heat was rising, knowing that someday that call could be used to damage the people on it, or even the Fox CEO herself. It raises the possibility that this call was leaked by Fox itself to hurt people at the top of Fox, because there are people even above that worried about the heat right now. The New York Times just doesn't say. And as is our practice here, we tell you what we know and we don't know. We don't have the sourcing, but we have clues. And this is a time where the walls keep closing in at a company run by people who've weathered decades of scandals by negotiating everything. The truth, obviously. Business, obviously. Relationships, all the time. These are the people who knowingly contributed to the attempted overthrow of your government. So this evidence matters a heck of a lot right now.